How do you deal with that as a family?
Well, we don't, in many respects, need to deal with it.
If I die, sometimes it's not simply an accident. Recently, the British royal family was shaken once again by an unprecedented discovery. During the architectural scanning using AI technology at Raymill House, Queen Camilla's private residence, engineers unexpectedly discovered a small hidden room beneath the kitchen floor. Inside, they found a memory card bearing Princess Diana's personal emblem. The card was handed over to Princess Anne, and what she heard chilled her to the bone. An unsuccessful poisoning attempt in 1995, and the person behind it was someone no one expected. Anne immediately launched an investigation. Just a few days later, a series of strange events occurred. A bold break-in at Anne's private home, a coincidental data system breach, and all pointed towards Camilla. Could that card be just a personal memory, or a piece of a truth that has never been revealed? In the sweltering summer days of August 2025, the AI Architectural Scanning Project, a trial initiative spearheaded by Princess Anne herself, was deployed in England with the aim of preserving historical heritage. Anne, the strong-willed woman, known for her decisiveness and loyalty to the royal family, chose Raymill House as the first location. With Camilla's consent, the owner of the house, she believed that this residence, with its centuries-old history, might hold intriguing surprises. Early on the morning of August 15th, the team of technicians equipped with laser scanners and AI structural analysis began their work at Raymill House. Tension filled the air when the AI detected an unusual void beneath the kitchen floor, a small hidden room cleverly concealed by 19th-century floor tiles. "Madam, we've found something unusual," the team leader reported to Anne over the phone, his voice trembling with excitement. Anne, in the adjacent monitoring room, immediately interjected, "Describe it in detail. Don't miss anything." They carefully removed the floor layer, revealing a damp, musty room, only a few square meters in size. Amid the dust and cobwebs stood out an old metal box securely locked with a rusted padlock. "Don't let anyone know about the box. Bring it to the monitoring room for me," she ordered the team leader. When Anne opened it, inside was only a small memory card, its surface engraved with a familiar emblem. Princess Diana's symbol, a stylized D with a rose. Anne felt a chill run down her spine. She remembered that emblem well. Diana had used it for her personal items as a secret mark of her own. Suspicion surged in Anne's heart. Why was this memory card in Raymill House, Camilla's residence? The woman who had once been Diana's rival, Camilla, the current queen, was always known for her cunning and ability to conceal emotions, but Anne couldn't help thinking of the old rumors about their complicated relationship. "Camilla, what does she have to do with this?" Anne whispered to herself, her eyes flashing with determination. She ordered the staff to continue their work. Keep the matter secret, seal the metal box, and bring it to her private residence in Gloucestershire. Without revealing a word to anyone else, Anne wanted to investigate it personally. She felt her heart beating faster, a mix of curiosity and anxiety. Could this be the key to unlocking the secrets that led to Diana's eternal departure? When the metal box was delivered to Gloucestershire, she was waiting in her private study where she often spent time pondering royal history. She opened the box, picked up the memory card, feeling the coldness of the metal. "Diana, what are you trying to say?" Anne asked herself, her voice full of emotion. She inserted the memory card into a secure computer, but the content was tightly encrypted. Deciding not to take risks, Anne locked it away and stored it in her personal safe, resolving to decrypt it the next day. She knew that if Camilla was involved, she must be hiding some terrible truth behind it. And indeed, news of the discovery spread like wildfire within the royal inner circle. That very afternoon, as the AI experiment concluded, Camilla was resting at Raymill when she received a report from her guards. Her face stiffened, her eyes flashing with rare panic. "Anne cannot have it." Camilla the Queen, with a smile that always concealed calculations, was sitting in the luxurious living room holding a cup of traditional English tea. But today that tea grew cold without her noticing. "Anne, she's found it." Camilla muttered, her voice filled with anger mixed with fear. She knew well what that memory card contained. Accusations from Diana about the 1995 poisoning incident, which could shake the throne she had worked so hard to secure. Camilla was not one to sit idly by and wait for doom. She was a seasoned strategist, and now she had to act. Camilla immediately summoned her most trusted guard, a middle-aged man named Marcus, who had once served in MI6. "Marcus, I need to retrieve that box, at any cost." Camilla commanded, her voice cold but full of resolve. Marcus nodded, understanding the implication. They selected a former bodyguard of Anne's named Harold, who had worked at Gloucestershire and knew every nook and cranny. Harold, dismissed for vague reasons a few years ago, was now drowning in debt. Camilla promised a large sum of money, enough to change his life. "I know the side path behind the stables. No one guards it at night," Harold whispered in the secret meeting. That very evening, as the moon hung suspended in the sky, the intrusion team began their operation. Harold led the way, accompanied by 2 professionally trained agents. They approached the residence from the rear, avoiding security cameras by using jamming devices. The side door, with its outdated electronic lock, was opened in seconds, thanks to the code Harold still remembered. The atmosphere was tense to the point of suffocation. Every step could be a fatal mistake. They sneaked into Anne's study, where she often kept important documents. Harold opened the safe, entering the sequence he had secretly memorized from his time working there. But when it opened, the metal box was empty. "Impossible, it has to be here," Harold whispered in panic, cold sweat streaming down his forehead. During their hasty retreat, one agent accidentally triggered a hidden sensor under the carpet. The alarm siren blared, piercingly, floodlights blazing. Anne's guards, always vigilant, rushed in and captured the 3 intruders. Harold was handcuffed, his face pale with fear. I was just following orders," he stammered during interrogation. Anne, awakened in the middle of the night, entered the temporary holding room with a furious expression. "Camilla, she's behind it all." Anne concluded, her heart pounding with rage. She felt deeply betrayed, not just by Harold, but by the royal system she had dedicated her life to. Camilla, receiving news of the failure over the phone, shattered the teacup in her hand. "Fools!" she screamed, her voice full of fury. She immediately ordered enhanced security at Raymill House, hiring additional guards and installing new security systems. At the same time, she secretly directed the technical team to erase traces of hidden rooms in the residence, ensuring nothing else could be discovered. But deep down, Camilla was afraid. She recalled the old days when Diana was alive and the secrets she had tried to bury. "I won't let Anne win," Camilla vowed to herself, her eyes flashing with fierce determination. A confrontation had been ignited, with the players being Camilla, a queen far from simple, and Anne, a woman not easily subdued. In the heavy atmosphere following the failed break-in at her residence, Princess Anne felt a surge of anger rising within her. She sat alone in her study, the desk lamp casting light on her stern face, where wrinkles deepened from sleepless nights. The glass of whiskey in her hand trembled slightly, not from fear, but from indignation. "Camilla, she's gone too far," Anne whispered, her voice full of resentment. The night before, when the piercing alarm siren sounded, she was awakened to confront the 3 intruders, including Harold, her once trusted former bodyguard. Under the interrogation lights, Harold confessed, "Queen Camilla hired me. She wanted the memory card back at any cost." That confession was like a dagger stabbing into Anne's loyalty to the royal family, the institution she had devoted her life to protecting her parents' legacy. Anne did not let emotions overwhelm her. As a seasoned strategist, she knew the memory card with Diana's stylized D emblem and Rose was the key to unlocking secrets that could shake the royal family. She decided to move it to a safer place before knowing its contents far from Camilla's reach. Early in the morning, as the sun just rose over the lush Gloucestershire fields, Anne summoned her trusted group, loyal guards from her youth and a few technology experts from MI5. "We can't keep the memory card here," Anne declared, her voice firm like a royal command. She chose a secret storage facility on the outskirts of London, an underground bunker from the Cold War era known to only a few. Anne personally drove there, followed by a car with 4 bodyguards. After the break-in, she worried Camilla might ambush at any time. She changed routes 3 times, using jamming devices to avoid tracking each turn a tense challenge. When the memory card arrived safely, Anne breathed a sigh of relief, but it was only the first step. She assigned top technician Dr. Ellis to decrypt the contents in a secure room with high-security computers. The atmosphere was stifling, filled only with the hum of computers and the heavy breathing of the experts. "This encryption is very complex, madam." Dr. Ellis reported sweat beading on his forehead. It was customized by Diana using algorithms from the 90s. Anne nodded, her voice urging, "Do it quickly. We don't have much time." After 3 tense hours, the preliminary decryption was complete. Anne read each line, her heart tightening. Diana wrote, "At the 1995 party, I noticed a strange smell in the wine glass. It was pungent, making me dizzy after a small sip. I pretended to drink, but poured it away when no one was looking. I investigated and discovered the server Jimmy was a distant relative of Camilla's. He disappeared to Australia with a large sum of money right after." Diana wrote her words full of suspicion and fear. Anne felt tears welling up. She remembered Diana, the radiant but lonely woman surrounded by palace intrigues. She tried to warn, but no one listened. Anne whispered, her voice choked with emotion. To prevent Camilla from striking again, she assigned 5 loyal guards to watch over the digitized copy 24/7 with an alarm system directly linked to MI5. But Anne did not stop there. She launched a covert investigation targeting Diana's medical records at the Royal Hospital. She contacted Sir Reginald, the elderly doctor, who had treated Diana, and arranged a meeting at a discreet tea house on the outskirts of London. Under the dim lights, Sir Reginald whispered, "The princess showed signs of mild poisoning, vomiting dizziness. The toxin in her blood matched a rare compound used in assassinations, but we were ordered to keep silent. Jimmy was Camilla's distant relative." The revelation chilled Anne to the bone, but ignited her resolve. Anne collected the records, yellowed pages with doctors' signatures and test results. She felt excitement mixed with fear. This was evidence that could topple Camilla, but it could also cause the biggest scandal in royal history. To prepare, she installed hidden cameras and hired private detectives to monitor Raymill House, where Camilla was reinforcing guards and renovating the kitchen to erase traces of the hidden room. An anonymous midnight call warned, "Stop if you don't want to lose everything." But Anne was undeterred. "Camilla is scared," she told herself, her eyes shining with resilience. Late at night, Anne sat by the window, gazing at the twinkling London night sky, holding the printed words from Diana. "I will bring everything to light," she whispered, tears rolling down her cheeks. This was not just a personal battle, but for the honor of the royal family. Anne was ready for the next move. Meanwhile, Camilla, the queen with an always calm and controlled exterior, was now seething with silent fury at Raymill House. She sat in her private office, the crystal chandelier light casting on her wrinkled face, deepened by prolonged sleepless nights. "Anne, does she think she can dig up my past?" Camilla whispered, her voice full of venom, her hand gripping the mobile phone tightly. She recalled the failed break-in. Harold and his accomplices captured, and now their confessions could become evidence against her. But Camilla was not one to surrender easily. She was a master of intrigue, having survived countless royal scandals. "If Anne wants to play, I'll play my way," Camilla vowed to herself, her eyes flashing with cold calculation. She knew that to reverse the situation, she had to attack Anne's credibility, turning the hunter into the victim. Camilla immediately summoned her most trusted team, including Marcus, the former MI6 guard, and a group of professional hackers she had secretly hired from the black market. They gathered in a sealed room at Ray Mill, where walls were soundproofed and security cameras temporarily disabled. "Hack into Anne's storage system. I suspect she hasn't decrypted it yet," Camilla commanded, her voice sharp as a knife. "Then plant fake data into the memory card. Make it look like Diana suspected many others in the poisoning." Marcus nodded, and the hackers began work immediately. Computers hummed in the tense atmosphere. They used sophisticated software to breach through a security vulnerability, a backdoor prepared earlier based on Harold's information. After 2 hours of sweating profusely, the task was complete. The memory card's content was now subtly altered. Direct accusations against Camilla were diluted with added segments like, "Diana suspected both Charles and other courtiers, unclear who the culprit was." This reduced its credibility, turning it into a vague rumor easily dismissed. But Camilla did not stop there. She knew technology was only part. Internal royal opinion was the key. She began spreading confidential rumors using the network she had built over decades. First, she called the Duke of York, a royal member easily influenced, and whispered over the phone, "Andrew Anne is exploiting the memory card to bring me down. She wants power to be the center. I'm just a victim of old plots." Camilla's voice was full of feigned emotion, as if holding back tears. The rumors spread quickly like wildfire through private conversations at Buckingham Palace and Balmoral. Camilla met with a few more members like the Duchess of Sussex via video call from afar and repeated the story. "Anne is stirring up the past to undermine the royal family's stability. I've tried to keep secrets to protect everyone's honor." Anne in Gloucestershire began to feel the heat of the counterattack. She received calls from royal members who were once allies. "Anne, what are you doing? Camilla says you're using Diana to attack her." Her brother, King Charles, called with a disappointed voice. Anne felt her heart tighten, as if squeezed by betrayal. "You believe her. She's hiding the truth." Anne shouted into the phone, her voice trembling with rage and pain. She remembered Diana, the woman isolated in a similar way, and now history seemed to repeat itself. Anne was temporarily isolated. Some royal members sided with Camilla, believing she was protecting honor. Even an internal meeting was held without inviting Anne, where Camilla presented her version with tears in her eyes. "I don't want the royal family to fall apart. Anne is pushing us into scandal." However, Anne had underestimated Camilla. Not only the courtiers, but Charles was also manipulated by her, summoning Anne to Buckingham Palace for an emergency meeting. She entered the grand meeting room, where royal members sat around the ancient walnut table, the atmosphere heavy like a trial. Camilla sat opposite, smiling triumphantly, but masked with a sorrowful expression. "Anne, you must explain this. Are you trying to destroy the royal family?" Charles said, his voice full of weariness. Anne stood up, her voice echoing, "This is slander. Camilla orchestrated this, and I'll find the evidence." But her words were interrupted by whispers agreeing with Camilla. Anne left the meeting with surging anger, but deep down was the pain of betrayal by her own family. She knew this was temporary. She had to find a way to restore the original and turn the tables. Camilla sat alone at Ray Mill, sipping wine, thinking she had won. But Anne, in the shadows of Gloucestershire, was planning her counterstrike. After Camilla's sophisticated slander strike, Princess Anne felt she was standing on the edge of an unrelenting war. She sat in her study at Gloucestershire, the dim light illuminating her weary face. Does Camilla think she can manipulate the truth? Anne whispered, her voice full of indignation, mixed with determination. She recalled the meeting at Buckingham where her words were dismissed, and Camilla sat there with a concealed, triumphant smile. But Anne was not one to surrender easily. She was the daughter of Queen Elizabeth II, forged through countless historical upheavals. This is the time to act, Anne told herself, standing up and calling her team of technology experts. Those who had worked for MI5, now her secret allies. The first task was to restore the original memory card. Anne sent the team to the secret storage facility on the outskirts of London, where the digitized copy was strictly guarded. Analyze every byte of data. Find the changes Camilla planted. Anne commanded via a secure video call, her voice resolute. The team, led by Dr. Ellis, worked tirelessly. Computers hummed in the sealed room, the atmosphere tense enough to hear heartbeats. After 48 exhausting hours, they succeeded. "Madam, we've restored the original. No traces of edits remain." Dr. Ellis reported, his voice full of excitement. Anne breathed a sigh of relief, but her heart still pounded. The original confirmed Diana's words, the 1995 failed poisoning with Jimmy, Camilla's distant relative, as the main suspect, and the strange smell in the wine glass being a rare toxin. With evidence in hand, Anne decided to take action herself to gather more pieces. She disguised simply a baseball cap and old coat and drove to the Royal Hospital in central London. This was where the royal family's secret medical records were kept, and Anne knew the side entrance from her youth. Her heart raced as she sneaked through dark corridors, avoiding security cameras, using an old access card. In the musty archive, she found Camilla's medical file after the 1995 party. The yellowed pages revealed blood tests, traces of a toxin similar to what Diana described, a harmful compound that could cause dizziness and vomiting. Camilla, she's hidden this. Anne whispered, her voice full of astonishment and anger. She quickly photographed it, tucked the file into her bag, and left undetected. On the way back, Anne felt a wave of emotion surging. She imagined Diana lonely in her final days, trying to warn, but silenced. With solid evidence, Anne decided to present it to the Royal Council, including King Charles and the Dukes. She arranged an emergency meeting at Balmoral, where Scotland's peaceful atmosphere could mask the approaching storm. Camilla has hidden ambiguous evidence pointing to herself. It proves she's involved in Diana's incident. Anne declared before the council, her voice echoing in the ancient oak-panelled meeting room. She presented the original memory card medical records and Harold's confession. The atmosphere shifted suddenly. Members whispered. Charles's face paled. "Anne, are you sure? If you're wrong, this could destroy the royal family." Charles asked, his voice trembling with worry. Anne looked straight into her brother's eyes. "Brother, the truth must come to light, for Diana and for our honor." The royal family plunged into a deep crisis. News spread quickly internally, sparking fierce debates. Some members supported Anne, calling Camilla a manipulator, while others feared public scandal. Charles, caught between his wife and sister, was forced to convene a full royal meeting, a rare event where all evidence would be examined. Camilla, receiving the news at Ray Mill, shattered the wine glass in her hand. "Anne, she'll pay," she whispered, but deep down, fear gnawed at her. Anne, returning to Gloucestershire, felt excitement mixed with fatigue. She knew the end was near, a climax that could change royal history forever. In the tense atmosphere of Balmoral, where the ancient oak walls seemed to groan under the weight of secrets, Princess Anne prepared for the final battle. She stood before the royal council, her gaze steadfast, but her heart heavy. "We cannot continue to hide the truth," Anne declared, her voice echoing, full of emotion. Before her were King Charles, the Dukes, and other senior members, all silent, drawn into the storm Anne had unleashed. Camilla, seated at the end of the table, maintained a composed expression, but her hands clenched tightly under the table, revealing inner panic. Anne knew this was the decisive moment, not just to clarify Diana's case, but to protect the royal honor she had dedicated her life to. Anne began presenting the evidence, each piece carefully arranged like a complete puzzle. First was Harold's confession, the former bodyguard captured in the Gloucestershire break-in. He admitted that Camilla hired him to retrieve the memory card. Anne said, her voice sharp, producing the recorded confession document. Next, she revealed the restored original memory card, with Diana's clear accusations, the 1995 failed poisoning, with the main suspect being Jimmy, Camilla's distant relative, who suddenly left for England with a large, unexplained sum of money. Then Anne produced bank transfer records collected by her private detectives showing Jimmy received millions of pounds from an anonymous account right after the incident. Who paid this money if not to silence him? Anne questioned, her eyes sweeping over Camilla, causing her to shudder slightly. Finally, Anne presented the medical records from the Royal Hospital, with Diana's 1995 blood test results confirming the poisoning was real, with the toxin similar to one found in the royal stores. Anne declared, her voice trembling with emotion. She recalled images of Diana, the woman who was a symbol of compassion crushed by palace intrigues. The council fell silent, the atmosphere heavy like before a storm. Charles bowed his head, his hands clenched, as if struggling between love for his wife and duty to the truth. Camilla stood up, attempting to refute. "It's all speculation. There's no direct evidence that I acted," she shouted, her voice full of desperation. But Anne was prepared. She called an unexpected witness, a former bank employee who handled Jimmy's transactions. The man trembling before the council confirmed that the anonymous account was linked to a shell company Camilla had used. Whispers spread in the room. Camilla paled, no longer able to maintain her calm. "She can't deny it anymore," a duke whispered to the person next to him. The session ended, though, without direct evidence of Camilla ordering the poisoning. Anne had clarified the truth Camilla knew about the incident and tried to cover it up at all costs. Charles, with a heavy heart, was forced to act. After a long night of closed discussions, he ordered the indefinite revocation of all Camilla's royal powers. Raymil House, a symbol of luxury and secrets, was immediately sealed. Camilla, once a powerful queen, was now isolated in her own palace. She was not criminally charged, but her reputation had completely collapsed. "I only wanted to protect the family," Camilla whispered to herself, but no one heard her excuses anymore. Anne left Balmoral with mixed feelings, victory, but accompanied by deep sorrow. She had restored justice for Diana, but the cost was a rift in the royal family. Returning to Gloucestershire, she sat in her study holding an old photo with Diana. "Sister, I've done it," Anne whispered, tears rolling down her cheeks. Raymil House, now sealed, became a symbol of buried truths finally brought to light. The memory card placed the British royal family at a historical crossroads. Anne, though victorious, knew these wounds would never fully heal. The story of Diana Camilla and the secret beneath the kitchen floor had changed the dynasty forever, leaving a lesson that truth, however painful, always finds a way to rise. How do you feel about Camilla's bold schemes, from hiding the memory card, hiring people, to break into Anne's house, to planting fake data to cover up secrets? Is it the panic of someone backed into a corner, or a coldly calculated drama to maintain power? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.